Right, everyone. Right, it's Steve here from Alone with Crazy Steve. Just about to do a podcast about knife crime. I'm here with the Smith family. How many years ago was it?
6.
So 6 years ago, and the date?
17th of November.
17th of November. So 6 years ago, the 17th of November, G. Smith was brutally murdered, stabbed 7 times.
6.
6 times. So he was stabbed 6 times. He was stabbed in the chest and he was stabbed in the back, and he died on the scene. So basically, this is basically giving awareness to families out there that have had brothers, sons that have been murdered, they're dead, obviously they've been killed. It's about mental health, like how the family are coping mentally with, these sort of situations. And the Smith family obviously have dealt with this stabbing. As well as hundreds of families across the whole of the UK and across the world that have dealt with same sort of scenarios where their sons have been brutally murdered, their daughters have been brutally murdered. So we're bringing awareness to mental health. Obviously, if you've read my book, you'll understand that mental health for me is massive. How to deal with stuff, and how do you deal with stuff? How do you actually deal with someone being brutally stabbed to death? How do you deal with that? Because I know that I couldn't cope with it. I know G was one of my best friends, and I still can't even get it out of my head to this day. So for me, when you talk about stuff, obviously getting off your chest, that's fair enough. But sometimes when something so brutally and so bad happens, it's like, how do you deal with that? That's one of the hardest things for me personally, how to deal with something, is that. So, this is Kirill, this is G's mum, this is Mark, this was G's brother, this is Mary, this is G's sister. There was other family members that are not here. Obviously, it's a really upsetting conversation to have. So a lot of people don't want to be on camera, obviously due to getting upset and stuff like that. So anyway, let's go to Kirill. Let's go right back. Where was G born?
Royal Berks Hospital.
So he was born in Royal Berks Hospital, and what was his date of birth?
31st of July 1988.
So he was 1988. So he was
29.
29, yeah, because no one knows this, but G always said he'd never make it past 30. Everyone knew that. It was just something he used to say. Anyway, so he was 29 when he died. So he was born in Royal Berks Hospital. Where did he live when he was born?
In Finchampstead.
The same house?
Same house.
The whole time? So
yeah.
he
was born there.
House.
Yeah.
Okay, that was bad. So, so he was, when he was at school and stuff, what was he like as a kid? What was he like as your son, growing up as a kid?
He was lovely. He was really good. He was a very good child, very good. He was good at school. Of course, right where he went. He got on with everyone. He had so many friends, girls and boys. And he was really good until he hit secondary school, and he started going a bit wayward. So he went to the school in Crowthorne. Edgeborough School. He was there for a couple of months and then got excluded. They couldn't cope with him. Then he went on to the Forest, and he done 6 months at the Forest, and he got excluded from there. Then he went to Embrook School. He done 3 months at Embrook and got expelled from there. So then we got him into a school up Gypsy Lane in Wokenham.
Southfields.
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah,
Southfields.
Quite a lot of the kids naughty went there.
Yeah. No, it was for good children. Yeah, but he was doing really well at that school up until he was 14.
I think they had I remember that school. They had quite a lot of good social work network there.
Yeah.
They had quite a lot of people talk to you
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah, it was a very good school.
My sister's fella Shane was a caretaker there. But yeah, I remember that school. Yeah, they had a really good network of helping the kids at school.
Yeah, he was doing really well there. And then when he was 14, he was out with his friend who we know him as Podge, but his real name was Richard Taylor.
Yeah.
He was out with him one day, and then one of the neighbours' sons come round, William, and said, "Come with me, boys, we're going to the shop." And little did I know, they were going round the corner, and William had just brought a little car. Bearing in mind he was only about 16 himself. And they headed off into Wokenham. without any of us knowing. And from Finchampstead to Wokingham, they've got a big cows field on one side and a big golf course the other side.
Yeah, I know.
Well, William looked down to change gears and went through a fence and hit a tree head on. And G was seriously injured. He had to get airlifted to
John Radcliffe.
No, it wasn't.
Wrexham
Park Hospital. He had internal bleeding, so they had to operate on him straight away, or else we'd have lost him. So he'd done a splenectomy. We didn't know for 9 days if he was going to live or not. But on the 10th day, he pulled through. So, yeah, so he's in hospital for about 2-3 weeks with that. Then come out of hospital, off school for months and months. And then we got him back into school, but he could only do mornings. He'd only do half day, but even then he started struggling because, like, obviously the school had all kinds of kids in there with different problems.
Yeah.
And a couple of times he got injured there, so I took him out of school. So 15, he wasn't at school no more.
So from 15 years old. So I remember G probably from about 15. That's probably when I remember G, from about 15 years old, 15, 16. I remember him back then, a racing snake. I thought he was a racing snake. He was the fastest man I thought you've seen in your life. So yeah, from 15 years old, like obviously I know him from 15, so that part of the life, I never knew G then, but obviously I knew who the whole family was, but I was obviously, as my podcast, I was off doing my own mad stuff. So when G was that age, up and like from 15 upwards, because obviously John Wiley died, didn't he?
Yeah.
He had the bike, so there was a boy called John Wiley we all was really close to.
Yeah.
And we'd all go out and get on Nick motorbikes and cut the woods and stuff like that, and he died.
Yeah, because G went to Southfield School with John Riley, so they were really good friends.
Yeah, and then Hayley Moffat died.
And then Hayley died.
So Hayley Moffat was a girl that we was all really close to as well. She got hit by a taxi on the 9 Mile ride. And yeah, that was one of the worst days as well, like really bad for us, like hit us all quite hard, to be fair. He did, and John Wiley did. They were quite, we will witness like friends of ours getting killed and stuff like that. Yeah, so from then, like obviously G to me, like this is me as my friend, not from the mum or the brother or sister as a friend. I remember G, he was a nutter. He was a fucking nutter. Like, but he was one of the most funniest guys you'll ever meet. He was a comedian. Like, if I would look at G as a comedian, the funniest, piss taker, it'll wind you up in 2 seconds flat. That's what I knew G as. Like, he wouldn't care, he'd fight anyone. He was just absolutely wild, but the best, kindest heart I ever like had around me. That's why G was one of my best friends. I loved him to pieces. So for me, from 15 onwards, like, what was it like from then onwards until obviously before he passed, but from then, what was it like as a mum? 'Cause I know for a fact that the police was at your house probably about 400 times. So let's go from then onwards, because that's what I like.
Yeah, he became a bit wayward, well, a lot wayward. But as you say, he was a brilliant guy. I mean, he could go sleep at night, and if anyone rang him, it could be 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. If they needed help, he'd get out of bed and go and help them straight away.
He's done it to me, yeah.
Yeah,
I know
and
for a fact.
he was what you call a lovable rogue.
Yeah,
Everybody loved him.
Yeah.
G was he was so black and white.
Yeah.
He was very much like his dad and his granddad. It was just literally black, white. There's no in between with G. Yeah, I've walked Billin Avenue at 4 o'clock many a mornings, hunting for him to come home. I remember one evening he hadn't come in because all my children, all 4 of them were told, when the street lights go off, it's time to come in.
Yeah.
Well, there was this one certain night, it had gone 10 o'clock and he still wasn't in. I was panicking. So I said to my husband, G's dad, and to Mark, I said, get out there and start looking for him. I've been all round his mates, I've been up and down Billin, I've been up the club, I've been everywhere. Can't find him. So they've decided to drive into Wokingham. Well, they've happened to catch G out the corner of their eye, walking from Wokingham, pushing a push bike, paralytic drunk, and he was like the Mr. Softy man walking up the road. So they've thrown him in the back of the car and the bike, brought him back to me, and I just took one look. I said, you're fucking pissed, didn't you? And so I literally, I dragged him up the stairs and I put the freezing cold tap on in the bath and I rammed his head underneath it. And I said, and by the way, I said, the Gathers has been here for you. I said, and they're coming back first thing in the morning and I hope you've got a fucking hangover. So put himself to bed and then he woke up about 7 the next morning and he's woke me up and he was bright as a spark, no hangover, no nothing. And I'm thinking, we were done. So then the Gathers came back for him because something to do with scrumping or something. He was always getting caught scrumping. He got caught on the wall one day scrumping with his brother, and the man, well,
over the fence,
and then the owner of the house actually grabbed hold of G, pulled his trousers down and smacked his ass. So he's come home to me. So I've gone to the man's house. All hell has let loose. The Gathers was called.
What did you do when you got to the house?
The man wouldn't come out of the house. He rung for the police instead, so the police have turned up.
So you've obviously gone there to go absolutely mental.
Yeah, because he pulled my boy's trousers down and smacked his bare ass. How dare he?
Yeah. But on the plus side, the apple was nice. Because he actually got right to the top to get me the big apple. Right. So I actually ate the apple.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah. So, basically it was told that if we say or do anything to this man, we'll be the ones getting arrested, not him.
That's always the way as well, and especially this country as well. It's always the way. Like they can do. So all of us have been brought up. Don't bark if you can't bite. So that's just the way it is. If you're gonna bark, if you get smacked, you get smacked. But if you're gonna bark and then go gather, that's like the scum of ours. You're a scumbag. Don't give like people loads of shit or go and smack someone and then go to the police. That's the scummiest of scummies. And then we get nicked because we retaliate. No, it don't work like that. But it does in the UK, so you have to be clever, obviously. Mm-hmm. Put balaclavas on and stuff. Yeah. Anyway,
read
so
these books.
We just have to go around the other way and start putting masks on and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Waiting for Halloween, so there's loads of fireworks going on. Just saying. Anyway, so yeah.
And then we'd wait for the Gathers to come on Halloween and they'd be the other side of my house just throwing eggs over. Getting the Gathers with them.
Then he witnesses, it was an old person about 60 years old now, with glasses. Like, oh really, was it? Well, look at me, I look nothing like that. I mean, you've got to make sure you play games. No, I'm joking. That's all false, by the way, alleged. Anyway.
It's not proven.
Yeah, not proven. So you went round, they caused carnage, all the police were called.
Yeah.
Is there any other incidents you can think of like that?
We've had road wars sitting outside our house while G and Sean was mending a wheel on a car. And these road wars, I went out and said, what the fuck do you think you're doing? We're not doing nothing. I said, well, fuck off away from the front of my house. I said, you're here antagonising them boys.
Yeah. Because
they kept saying, one of them, the driver, kept saying things out the window to wind G and Sean up for them to retaliate.
Yeah.
And I had to keep going out saying, don't rise from boys, don't rise, just carry on. But G couldn't keep his mouth shut, especially where they were concerned.
Yeah, yeah.
So he had a lot to say to them, and then so that was for a good hour and a half, 2 hours. They were sat out there. Eventually they left. I've been out there so many times. And there's times then when he started getting to the age of going nightclubbing. That was times I was walking the streets looking for him again at 4 o'clock in the morning because him and his brother weren't home. And then one night they didn't come home at all, and I was panicking. And I got up and I was doing my housework. I was hanging my curtains up, and then I had the front door go, and I've looked round and saw Mark walk in, and then I said, "Where's your brother?" He's behind me, and I've looked like that. I've looked, and I'd nearly give myself whiplash. She has got an eye out here. He'd been fighting every weekend. These were fighting with the squaddies.
Yeah, I know, I was there.
Yeah.
Standard weekend.
Yeah, 100%. Eternity night.
When you go to eternity in first bowl, that is it.
Yeah, eternity squaddy fight was just like a normal.
It wouldn't have been a good night if you didn't have a fight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you'd have to be going, and it'd be like, right, we're ready for a fight now. I remember once I was coming back from Wokingham with Dougie, and about 6 of us, and I literally said to Dougie, I was like, we've had a really good night tonight. We didn't have one fight. And literally, as I said it, a champagne bottle was come over the top and smashed me straight in my leg. And I had these white jeans on it. Blood just come on my leg. I was like, to that man, I was like, are you fucking serious? Like, literally. And then all of a sudden, like, everyone's getting there. It's just carnage, mate. Golf clubs and knives. And it's just gone off, mate. And everyone got nicked. I got nicked for stabbings. And I got nicked for GBH. And fucking someone made his tooth out of a golf club. Brenchy got his teeth done. He got nicked. Everyone got nicked. and then because it was such a big fight, there was no further action. It all got chucked out. But I remember thinking like that one night, because most people out there, this is like actually like not a joke, and obviously Mark will understand this more because he was there doing it. But one weekend when you didn't have a fight was like the best. You're like, oh, there was a fight this weekend. It was like the norm not to have a fight. There was like norm to have a fight. But when you didn't have a fight, it was kind of like, oh, there wasn't even a fight tonight.
Yeah,
That's weird.
a bit strange.
That's weird.
Not many people out.
Yeah, literally. If you didn't wake up in the morning with your lips and that stuck to your pillowcase, like it was not normal. Do you know what I mean? Or a police cell stuck to the blue plastic one. It was either one or the other. So it's like, yeah, but yes, but yeah. So yeah, G, I that's how I knew G. Like literally, just funny, didn't care, went out, scrapped anyone, didn't give a shit. I'll actually tell you a story about.
I worked all day as well.
Yeah,
he worked
did
on the scrap. Yeah, he was a grafter.
All day long. He was a proper grafter.
Yeah.
That's one thing you can't take away from that man. He grafted every day.
He did.
Just to love earning money, he did.
Good mechanic and all.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, very good mechanic.
If he couldn't fix a transit, let me tell you.
Yeah, you know
he
that.
put a transit back together in about 30 minutes, stripped and back together. They might not be the right bits for that transit.
He may have bolts left over, but like my dad said.
We don't know where the bits come from, but obviously they were gifted.
Like my dad said, them bolts are spare.
Yeah.
So I had a thing with G in town once. This is G to a T. We was in sub 89 in Reading, and a lot of squaddies were at the bar, and G was giving it all like it's the squaddie having arguments with this fella. And he said, I'm jobbing him in a minute, I'm jobbing this. Watch what I do to this man in a minute, I'm taking his jaw, watch what I do to him, I'm going to take his jaw off. And I was like, G, leave it, we're having a good night. Just chill out, do you know what I mean? And G he would be happy and laugh and that, but as soon as he says something, you know he's going to smack him. And he'd smack laughing, he wouldn't smack angry, he wouldn't really get angry. I've never seen G angry. He would just hit you laughing. And he'd think it's funny. Anyway, so he didn't hit him upstairs, we'd gone downstairs, and as we've gone out to like the smoking area, there's like all of the squad and his mates, and he's just gone bosh to this one fella, he's hit the man, then run off. And left me. I can't run. Like, you know, I'm not skin. I'm not like this. G can fucking run. I can't. That's why I was at to stand there and fucking fight everyone. Next minute, I'm bent over and I've got about 6-7 squaddies kicking the shit out of me, and I'm trying to smack all the squaddy stuff. Obviously, when you've got 6, I don't care who you are. You've got 6 or 7 men chomping all over your head. It's hard work. So like, obviously, I'm doing that. All got broke up. Police turned up. Like, hey, everyone move out of the way. Blah blah. And I'm walking back to my Range Rover.
Out the bonnet.
I swear that man. I'm walking back to my Range Rover and I've got eye out here, my lips split. I've got all the inside of my mouth was bleeding. I was spitting on the floor there going, fucking hell, big fuzzy head. And God, fuck, that was a bit mad. And I'm thinking, I kept looking behind, thinking, they're not coming after me again, are they? Like, and I'm walking back to my Range Rover. I get to know, as soon as I walk around the corner, I can see him. I could just see him now. Led up my Range Rover with his feet across on the bonnet of my Range Rover going, fuck me, how long do you take? He said, how long have you been? Like, what's the crack? Like, and I just looked at him and goes, fuck off the bonnet, G, you pissed me off. What was all that about? Gets in the car, gets in the Range Rover, goes, fucking just get in the motor. He gets in the motor, he goes, cool, come on, it's freezing out here. Gets in the motor like that, and I'm like, shut the fuck up. You've just done that, I know what you've just done. You've done that on purpose, that's why I got scrapping for a joke. Thought he thinks it's funny. Gets the motor in and he's staring at my face. I'm like, he goes, cool, you need to put your hands up, you do. You got to learn to put your hands in the air. Cool. And all the way home, I was like, fuck off, G, fuck off. And he's like, well, it does look sore. And he'd wind you up and wind you up. He's a fucker.
He was a wind-up merchant.
Such a wind-up.
100%.
And in the hot tub, I had a hot tub in my house, this is 100%. I was with one of my exes then, and literally she's gone, someone's in the garden. I thought, what the fuck's that?
This was about 7 in the morning though, wasn't it, Steve?
No, this was...
You were still in bed, you and I was in bed?
That was when he made breakfast, 7 in the morning. This was about 3 o'clock in the morning. It was pitch black, there was no one on the roads, apart from his transit van with all the muds up the side of my house. And she said, someone's in the garden. It's about 3 o'clock in the morning. I looked out, and all I could see were the lights in my hot tub. That the roof was off. And I thought, shit, someone's nicking the hot tub roof, because they were quite expensive. And I thought, fuck, I'm looking out at that, and I thought, shit, so I had a machete above my door, so I took the machete, and I thought, someone's trying to nick my hot tub roof. I've opened the window, I thought, let me just open the window first. And I've opened the window, I've gone, who the fuck's in my garden? And then all I heard was, oh. And I thought, and I instantly knew, you fucking prick G. He's got into the hot tub at 3 o'clock in the morning, he just jumped the fence, got into the fucking hot tub, he's like, oh, that's the bollocks mush. Oh, I'm telling you now, that's the cream. I thought, you fuck's sake, shut the window. I went back to bed. She's going, you can't just do that. I said, shut up, he's not your brother. Anyway, so cracked on and done that, and then another day, I'll tell you another time, the downstairs door goes, and obviously G with everyone, it's my house, when you turn up, everybody's turn up. It's like, our house is like we can just walk in, it don't matter, we're all like family.
Never locked.
Never locked,
Never locked.
Doors open to all of us. So the door went, and then obviously Mike's again, it's gone, oh yeah, someone's breaking into the house. And literally, I've gone downstairs, and I used to have plant pots and stuff, and I learnt this from one of my other friends. I used to have knives in each plant pot of the house and stuff like that, machetes and that, and I just took it out, took the stuff out, and I've gone walking downstairs, and I just knew when I saw the legs. I knew, as soon as I got down the stairs, I just see the legs, and I thought, oh my God, and then I can hear a pan going. He's slowly making breakfast in my house, gone in my fridge, took all the bacon out, and starts making bacon breakfast. So I goes back up, I goes, fuck off, G. So I goes back upstairs, gets obviously, like, my boy Riley's gone down the stairs, and obviously him and G were quite close at the time, and then he's like, G used to put Riley up on the side, and then that was it, and he cooked us all dinner. We all went in and we all sat down, and he's like, oh no, fuck. He goes, that's the cream in it, Steve, there's the bollocks in it. He goes, man can make a breakfast, I'm telling you. I was like, oh, fuck off, you prick. But that's G to a T, that's what he was, you know what I mean?
That's what
he was like family.
What about the one where he set the road on fire near you, the tree?
Oh, fuck. So I'll tell you this one, right? So, this is like, mate, we was I had a bungalow at a house I was living in, and we had a bonfire, like a fire outside, because we sort of like, so obviously you know the Smith family are travellers, so like we would go coursing with the dogs and stuff like that. It was like a big thing for all of us. Like, and most people in the area, even though there wasn't travellers, everyone would go coursing. We all grew up with travellers around here, we're all like real connected and stuff. So we'd all been out coursing and stuff like that, and I used to have the dogs, and I'd go out with the dogs hunting at night time with all the boys. This night we come back and we had the fire on. Mark was there, G was there, everyone was there. G picks up the fucking, it wasn't lighting too much. He goes, oh, let's get the fire, 'cause we were freezing cold. He gets the petrol can, he goes, at bang. And then, as he's done that, obviously the flame's gone up on the petrol can. He's gone, oh, Dawdy. He's ran with it alight, like something out of a film, dun 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 like that. And he's just gone, chucked the petrol can across the main road. And the petrol can, obviously it started to melt the top, the whole thing, and there was petrol gone all across the road up in the bush. The whole main road is flamed as high as this ceiling, and the cars couldn't get past. They had to stop. They had to stop, and it was like, what the fuck, G? And he's like, and he said, hands burnt. Didn't give a shit. Stopped the whole road, set the whole bush alight.
Yeah. Stood there laughing.
Laughing. That's G. And he goes, well, don't worry, I'll do with that. Oh, chucked his whole thing up. So yeah, so that's so we're just gonna break. That's how I knew G. That's how we all knew G. Stuff like that. He was a loving, kind person. Obviously, like an absolute ragpot. But let me explain it.
He got married.
He got married to Rachel.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got married.
And he said, don't ever stop me going to my mum's. And I think within a year they was divorced.
Yeah.
He said, and he brought her a business and everything, and then he moved back to me to live in a trailer on the garden.
Yep.
He didn't want to leave his mum.
Never leave his mum. No way.
Rent free.
Yeah, 100%. That was what it all was. Rent free.
Yeah, you know,
rent free. His mum's always got his washing, his cleaning,
yeah.
his food. Everything you can think of, she would do.
His rent money was going on drink. That's an extra night out, that one.
Oh, 100%. So yeah, so he was a ragpot, but so was all of us. So people say about council estate and Travers and all these kind of stuff. Oh yeah, like, you know, sometimes you walk past people in the streets and people are just looking like a piece of shit. Let me tell you something. We've got a big family network. Like, we're all close. And you know, I'd rather have that than be someone who's got a really good business, goes to work 9 to 5. Then don't take this as the wrong way. I'm just saying, me personally, I would rather have a family network like this where I've got loyalty and trust and people around me that actually give a shit, than people that are two-faced and out there that don't really know nothing about family. And I'd rather know that I can make one phone call and I've got people there that actually will support me. That actually means a lot more to me than a lot of other stuff out there. So that's just what I'm personally saying.
Yeah, my kids had the best childhood.
Yeah.
Growing up, and they say it all the time.
Yeah.
Never get a childhood like that, in and out of people's houses. Like,
yeah.
All the kids used to come to me, sleep all through the holidays, at weekends. I'd feed them all, and like at Christmas time, because my house was always open, I used to put buffet style, put it all in pots on the side, because I never knew who was turning up. I had 27 there one day for a Christmas dinner.
I think you was like the mum of the area though. I honestly, like, if I was to think about it realistically, like,
the council used to call me the matriarch.
Yeah, you was like like the queen mum of the area. Everyone that comes to your house. Do you know? Obviously, like, we'll get to like the obviously the upsetting bit in a minute. So obviously, don't want to talk about. We have to. But when that happened, the whole area just went dead.
Yeah.
Like when, so basically, we'll just get to it because it's got to be got to. But everyone in the local area, obviously around Carill's house at the time, everyone would just be outside our house, no matter what time it was. It could be 11, 12, 1 morning. They'd be outside Carill's house, and it'd be like the local place to go, and everyone would feel safe there. Everything would happen there. Do you know what I mean? And it would look at like Carill's like sort of like the mother of the hood. Do you know what I mean? And everyone knew if you went there, you knew where G was. He was either there or up the train site. Do you know what I mean? It was one or the other, or he was out doing whatever. So,
doing what G does.
Yeah. So it was like that or that. So so that's kind of like where we're at with that. When obviously I got a phone call at super o'clock in the morning from my sister saying that something really bad's happened to G. I don't even know why or how, but I do know that I do believe in afterlife 100%. But I got straight up, got my motor, just drove straight there because I knew, and I don't know why, but I just knew something really bad had happened. And for me just to turn up like that, you bet he was like, what the fuck is he doing here? Like, it's just like that, I was here. I just drove there. I knew something bad had happened. Anyway, I turns up, obviously, to Carill's house. Like, I went to Clive's first. They started crying. I just wanted to get to G and see what I just went there. I turned up. Obviously, I remember seeing taped off. The gathers were there. I remember seeing Mark first. Mark come over and hugged me and was like crying, saying he's dead. Then I was like, what the fuck? Like in my head, like if he was one of my best friends, obviously, like it was hard for me to like get that side of things. Like I'm there, I've just turned up. Never even seen Mark cry once, and he's like crying on my shoulder and he's like hugging me, going, he's fucking killed him. I'm like, what the fuck? Then I've turned around and seen Mary. Mary's obviously crying her eyes, she's in a bad state as well. So I think I hugged Mary and I'm like, what the fuck? And then I'm like, I remember seeing G and I looked down, I was like, fuck, he's dead, he's actually fucking dead, do you know what I mean? And then I remember seeing a big paint line where Mary had chucked the paint in at that fella that done it. So did you have a row with him? Like, so
No, I said to him, what have you done to my brother? He said he was going to kill him. But little had I known, he'd already done it. So he paint pot on his car. And he just drove off. And left him dead on the stairs. I picked him up.
Did you
begged him not to go.
Did you chuck the paint in at? I remember seeing paint on the floor.
I put it in his car. And it was going to arrest me for criminal damage on his car for throwing the paint after he killed my brother.
Fucking hell.
I begged him not to go. That's when he asked me, help me.
Well, that's what G was saying.
Help him. Never asked anyone for help in his life.
Right.
Never. I just begged him, please don't leave me. And then Mum come in. Mum tried to save him. Didn't work. By that time he'd already drove off in his car. Police didn't go after him.
They didn't.
They didn't go after him to go first.
No.
He'd gone home, he'd had a shower, went to the girl's house, had a shower, got changed his clothes and that lot.
Had food.
Yeah, and then
Handed himself in the next day, wasn't it? Early hours of that.
Like nothing
They
there back
had,
then.
he thought that he changed his clothes, apparently he was jumping, he thought they'd got away with it, and it had G's blood on it. He still walked away.
Fucking hell.
Last days.
So Kirill, when you first turned up there, so let's go back a bit. We'll go back a bit. So why did G go round there in the first place?
Well, I was in bed. I'd brought a Chinese and I brought one for me, one for Ted and one for G. I'd rung him and said, do you want Chinese? He said, yeah. So I ordered it. And it arrived. He said, oh, I'll be back in a minute. No, that was it. I give him, he'd gone somewhere. Well, I know where he'd gone.
Yeah.
He'd gone to see some bloke.
Yeah.
And then he come back and I give him his Chinese and I said, right, I'm taking mine upstairs. I'm going to go up, eat mine in bed while I'm watching a film. And he said, yeah, all right. And I was watching the film. I took a sleeper and then I just dozed off to sleep. And then my phone started ringing. So I've answered the phone and I said, hello. And all I could hear was someone screaming down the phone, but I couldn't understand what they were saying, and all I could get the gist of was G. And I said, what's G done now? Thinking he's having a fight or something. And I said, whereabouts? And they said, dark close. So I've just got out of bed, got my dressing gown on, walked downstairs, got outside, lit up a fag, and all of a sudden I could hear noise. So as I was getting closer to dark close, the noise was getting louder, so I ran. And I literally ran to the house where I knew that G had been out with this boy all day. They'd been out drinking together all day. So I knew G was round about that area somewhere. And I just ran and I got as far as the gate and I went to run through and she said he's gone, and I threw her out of the gate and all I could see was G laying up the floor. I knew he was gone. By the colour of him. And I just ran in, I picked him up and I cuddled him. And then I just put him back down again and I started giving him mouth to mouth and doing the CPR on him. And then all of a sudden Ted was behind me. He come running in. And I don't know why, for some reason, the first thing Ted done was took G's watch off his wrist. And gave it to me as I was doing CPR and that. And then anyway, I carried on doing mouth to mouth and Ted took over doing the CPR. I knew it was no good. I knew he weren't coming back. Yeah, we tried. We both tried. And then all of a sudden, paramedics come in and police, and they just
take them to get there.
The paramedics were sat at the top of the road. They'd been up there 15, 20 minutes. They weren't allowed to come down. The police had told them.
They stopped them from coming down
because it was a stabbing. They said, "Do not enter," and they had to sit at the top of Billing Avenue
until the police come
until
in
the
and
police arrived.
What the fuck? I didn't know that.
Yeah. And then they the paramedics said move, so I've like backed up the stairs a bit because I was right near the stairs. Ted's gone the other way into the front room. And they've got down to G, and then literally they've gone, we've got no room, and they dragged him by his
shoulder, wasn't it?
Yeah,
by
his
shoulders.
t-shirt, and just dragged him into the kitchen, cut all his clothes off of him, started working, and it was the one to his heart is the one that they'd called for the air ambulance. Then by this time the police had come in. The bloke who had done it, he took off, but his woman was upstairs. Bearing in mind, his children were sat on the stairs and was watching what was going on. They'd actually seen G get stabbed. So the police had thrown us out, but she was allowed to go upstairs with the kids. While we was outside, the two from the air ambulance, they landed in the doctor's surgery. They came running down and they worked on G for a good hour and a half. And then like CID and all that was there. And I just sat across the road from the house. Just sat on the freezing cold floor, just waiting, hoping that they could do it. And they said the only way he'd have lived is if they'd done open heart surgery on him. But they just couldn't do it there. And then CID came out. This must have been about 4 o'clock in the morning. We're still all round there. And I said, can we take you back to yours? And I went, no. I said, he's gone, isn't he? And they said, we'll talk to you. I said, I know he's gone. And two of them walked me and Ted back to the house.
So
I just went mental.
I remember when I turned up, they taped a bit off. As soon as I got there, obviously there was motions going everywhere. Everyone was crying. G was on the floor when I got there, like outside. And I remember us all telling, because the Gavers wouldn't let you go and say goodbye to
No,
him,
he wouldn't.
but we kicked off.
That was the next morning, wasn't it? When they brought him out,
When they brought him out.
Because they left him on the kitchen floor all night, and obviously Mum was going mad because obviously he didn't like the cold, so she wanted to give him a blanket, but they wouldn't let her. And then obviously the next morning we were there.
It's just so bad that from, especially when it comes to how they. So, do you feel like the system over here did justice?
It's fucked.
It's fucked. So do you feel
There's no justice over here.
Do you feel like they let your son down?
Yeah, they fucking did, big time. Absolute big time.
They had all the evidence they needed.
I mean, not from the court. I'm on about from how they treated your boy from when.
The ambulance.
The ambulances and the police. Do you think they treated him right?
The ambulance. I couldn't.
The ambulance, yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't thank them enough for what they'd done. They tried and tried for a good hour and a half, trying to everything to bring him back. But as for the police, just nah.
I've got no respect for the police over
Nah.
Because obviously if they let the ambulance come in quicker, maybe we could have had a chance if they let him in, but they just said don't bother going down until we get there and clear it.
15 minutes is a long time.
It's
a very long
time when
it
somebody's
is,
dying.
in that situation, you know what I mean? You lose 15 minutes of blood, then you ain't got no chance of coming back
Especially
anyway.
oxygen to the brain and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Might have been alive now, but you might be going to a room seeing him breathing and not being able to come with it.
Exactly.
So, yeah,
and he wouldn't like that
anyway.
anyway.
To do that to the ambulance, that's what's wrong. They could have said, hold on.
Yeah, you'd have the whole of Loddon Valley there.
Within seconds, but no, this time not like that.
So, obviously, since that's obviously when that had happened and stuff like that, obviously I was at your house every single day. I built which is out the back of the Gypsy Cart, with G always. If he was alive, he'd have loved it.
Yeah.
Obviously,
if he was alive,
if
you
he was
wouldn't
alive,
do
he
it.
wouldn't do it.
If he was alive, I wouldn't do it. I'd have fucked that.
It was a bit of a catch-22,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Definitely. But I know he took it down now, saying, "You wanker, you took it now."
I asked you years for one of them, and then you didn't bother doing it.
Yeah,
I'd go
I
and you
built a
make
small
one.
I built a small one in prison out of matchstick. He loved it, and he kept trying to get it off me. And I kept saying no. It's a beautiful one. And then obviously when he died, I built him one with all flowers, and it was a really emotional day when you come out and see that. It was beautiful. For me, I was there every single day, and I thought, with me, I've got a thing in my heart and tradition. For me, I'm old school. So when a friend or a family relative dies, you stay there till they get buried, and then you go about your business. But until they get buried, you give them the whole heart and soul. That's just the morals that I live by. So I gave every single day until he got buried, and then obviously I went off and had to do my own life and stuff and move on and do stuff. Obviously, you know about my book, Alone, being my life, obviously being raped and beaten, stabbed in prisons and stuff like that. I'm all about mental health. Obviously, this is the whole of my podcast are about mental health. I'm going to be doing obviously a few about stabbings, hence the fact we're here and stuff like that. I want to get into the mental health side of things, how this has affected your mental health, every day since that happened, up until it happened. Obviously, how your head was, to then when it happened, how have you felt mentally since he got stabbed?
While G was still here, when we lived in Finchampstead, I mean, we was out having parties in the front garden every night, a big 50-gallon drum with a big massive fire in it. Yeah. People always round. Oh yeah, G with the plank of wood, stamped on it and come up and hit me, broke my nose. I didn't spill his drink.
Yeah.
Out on the motorbikes all weekend, every weekend.
I was so happy-go-lucky. I looked so young. I was trendy. I was just a life and soul of the party. And then when that happened to G, I never even got out of my bed for 2 weeks. And then just every time I closed my eyes, I could see him laying there. I'm on tablets for PTSD. I'm on tablets for depression. I obviously had to leave my house for 30 years and move from a big 3-bedroom house, front garden, back garden, hundreds of friends and family, to a 2-bedroom bungalow.
And don't see nobody.
Don't see nobody. And now having to bring my granddaughter up as well, because this all stemmed from that night, because she got injured that night this is what started the
row.
This is
Whole
the beginning
situation.
of it, by my granddaughter getting hit in the nose by that man who stabbed G. So I'm now having to bring up, I've had 6 years in June, so, and then losing my husband in April. It's just some days, I can sit in there for days on end, days and days. I'm in bed at 6 every night, and if she hasn't got school, I don't get out of my bed till 12, 1, 2 in the afternoon, and then I get up. Lucky she's at the age she can feed herself, even if it is pasta or scrambled egg, but she still feeds herself.
And she feeds you.
But I just, no, totally, completely different person. I've aged, I must have aged about 30 years from that night. I just aged with him, from him going, just, I don't do nothing that I used to do. I mean, if there was a night out, someone, you know, the girls invite you down for, the girls invite you out for a night, you know, I'd be there. I'd be first one there.
Yeah, I know that, yeah.
And then after this, nah. But the amount of medication and that I'm on, I must admit, over the last couple of months, I have started going out, starting to try and get my life back, because it just seems weird. I feel a bit of peace now, because Ted going, I know G's not on his own up there, he's got his dad with him, and it just makes me feel a little bit
Relaxed.
easier, a bit more relaxed, knowing that he's not on his own.
Yeah.
You know, he's got his dad up
Yeah.
there. I mean, I tried quite a few times to get up there with him, because that's all I wanted to do, was be up there
He didn't want you.
with my boy. He was my youngest of 4, and it just killed me. When the night it happened, when the CID walked us back to the house, and I went into my place, started smashing it up, and literally it felt like someone had put their hand in and ripped my heart out. And from then, just,
Do you feel like it's still ripped out? It's not gone?
yeah, oh God, yeah. Listen, there's a hole in my heart that will never be filled, not until I get back with him. Never ever. No, he definitely broke my heart that night that he went.
And that's what killed me dad as well.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah,
The mental health bit, because the day my brother went, that was the day my dad went as well.
I literally was saying that to Sophie like yesterday. I said about Ted. I said he died of a broken heart.
He did.
He give up after my brother went. He just completely give up. Just you know what I mean. And you could see it in him. He just didn't want to do anything. He wasn't the same person that he was.
No,
And
none
then
of us were.
every single day he turned around and said, he used to say to me every single day, because I used to speak to him every day, see him every day, I'll be with you soon, son. That's every single day. And then
We actually used to argue over who was going first,
He always said he'd get
because
back
I always
to you.
used to say to Ted, I swear to God, you get up there to my boy before I do, and I will kill you and bring you back to life. I know it doesn't sound normal, but it's just, that's what I used to say to him. I'll kill you and I'll bring you back. You're not getting there before me.
but he did.
And he did. But I think he had to. I think he had to go before me, because he would never have lived here without me.
No.
We were together 44 years.
I feel like if it had been the other way round, it would have been harder for the kids to live around him and stuff like that. It'd be like, you're that mothery, you're the head of the family. Like, you've always been that powerhouse, do you know what I mean? Ted's a powerhouse, but nowhere near as a powerhouse as you.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
definitely not.
You was always like, you've still got your whole family to stand by, so you've got a few years yet before you can go. You know what I mean?
And
I
for the
think
sake of Annie as well.
Yeah, that's
Ted
what-
would never have
he wouldn't
been
have
able.
coped with that
No,
kind
he
of
wouldn't.
stuff.
He would have
wouldn't.
give up
No.
even more.
Yeah.
2-3 months he'd have been gone anyway, and then we'd have both been gone. So it is a blessing that he did go before me, although I am still angry with him for it.
Sorry, I had to think of something funny. I can't help it. I remember Terry went on the quad bikes around the woods, and he went up and when he rolled back down, and fell over in the quad bike, and it rolled over on him. He was fucking at the bottom of the thing. Oh, my leg. Fucking hilarious. Yeah.
Come and pick me up.
That was on G's motorbike.
Yeah.
G went running over laughing. He said, my dad's dead. He said, died on the motorbike.
I remember trying to come with 10 and G went straight past me on the back wheel, man. I was like, fucking hell, G.
Don't worry about your dad then, G. Nah, he'll be alright.
Literally there going, leg. So yeah.
That's the way you deal with it. Innit? You look at the good times, and because if you don't, then you're just going to end up giving up. And he wouldn't want anyone to give up anyway.
He wouldn't.
So
that was going to be my next.
You know what I mean? He wouldn't want none of us to give up. At the end of the day, if it was the other way around, do you really think he'd give up? Because there's no way on this earth he would give up.
And he'd want you to be strong for the family, and he wouldn't want you to be upset over he'd want you to be happy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He would want that.
He would, but it's just.
I know it's so hard. Yeah, it's so hard.
You feel guilty if you laugh at something, and you feel guilty if you go out because he can't do them things no more. So there's a lot of guilt with it.
Mary, it must have been like, as the sister, because obviously your mum's the mum to G. Do you know what I mean? So like, obviously as a mother, this is why I wanted like the family round here, so I could get different perspectives on it. Because I can tell you from one of his best friends what it was like for me, but like as Krill was a mum, she born G, and it was her son at hospital, Royal Bark. It was her fourth son, the baby. For you, you're his sister. What was it like mentally and his sister, like going through after knowing that he was actually dead?
Worst thing ever. Just feel like it's a nightmare. It's not real. I just want to be smacked and woke up from it.
Do you feel like you're gonna wake up one day and it's all a dream?
I wish that would happen, but it's just, there's no way to explain it. It's just broken. And to lose him anyway, but to be there and knowing exactly what happened, and just not looking at it. It's just, yeah.
I suppose, especially that. So like obviously like when he was saying to you like help me, I suppose that's been in your head. Does that like get you like quite a lot mentally?
All the time, picture it. I'm on medication the same as mum. Sleep at night and just can't sleep.
So you're on tablets as well?
Yeah, I'll lay one side. I'll just see him one side, turn the other side. Listen to you. It's just a killer. Who is?
Yes, so Mark, what, as a brother, obviously to G, because women, so see us as men, like, so as a man, we have to stand strong, we have to be the tough, like, we're not allowed to show our emotions, you know what I mean? Whereas women, obviously, you can see in this, their emotions are out there, do you know what I mean?
It's hard because he wasn't just my brother, he was my best mate.
He was your best friend, I know that, yeah.
You know what I mean?
He
was my best mate.
Yeah.
So, obviously, when he did go, half of me went with him because it would never be the same. And obviously, every day I spoke to him. I could be at home at 10, 11 o'clock at night, and all of a sudden I hear the country music going, the van pulling up, and he's just coming through the door. You know what I mean? And it's just things like that, like silly little things that we miss. Yeah. You know what I mean? But we miss them, but it's something to give you a little bit of hope because you've still got that. You know what I mean? You've still got the memory. You've still got yeah. So, but it's like I say, the day that he went, it was just nothing's been the same. Obviously, half of me died. Obviously, my kids, it's affected my kids. You know what I mean? So, but like I say, we got to carry on, be strong because he wouldn't want no one to give up.
No.
And if I ended up giving up, I know for a fact he'd be screwing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because at the end, I've still got the kids here. If anything happens to me, who's going to look after them? Who are they going to look up to? I know they got their mum, their nan, and all that lot. But me as a father to them, they look up to me. You know what I mean? I got all boys apart from one girl. So.
What you got? I had to say it. Sorry.
Well, we got 10 altogether between us, but I got 7.
Big families.
No, eight, sorry.
Eight,
sorry, I've got, yeah.
Not even he can remember how many
No.
kids he's got.
Just don't ask me their date of births, yeah? So yeah, eight kids. Got 7 boys, 1 girl. But, you know what I mean, and it's affected all of them.
Because you've had a few parts as well with your kids.
Yeah, I lost my little boy. I lost my little boy 2 years for my brother. And then obviously my granddad went, then my brother went, then my uncle went, then my dad went, all within the space of 6 years. So, you know what I mean? If it wasn't for bad luck, I wouldn't have no luck at all.
Yeah.
But I'm still here. I'm still going strong. I still have my bad days. You know what I mean? I keep to myself. And the main thing that keeps me going is my kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I feel like you're like this whole entire family. You're the man now. There's no men left.
Yeah, he wasn't happy when Ted went.
No.
Yeah.
Cheers, Dad.
Well,
fucking
'cause
left
it's
me
all-
to deal with
it's
the
all on your
women.
head now, innit,
Exactly.
realistically, like,
First
so-
of all, I said, cheers, bruv.
Yeah.
And then my
Yeah.
dad went, I'm
Cheers.
like, thanks very much. Now let me deal with all the women.
Yeah. So for you now, you've got a lot of responsibility, really. Like I know
Pretty
it don't
much,
seem
yeah.
like it, but you're the head of the family.
You know what I
Like,
mean?
you're the only guy there that's at the top now.
That
You've
can-
got your boys growing up
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Well,
Obviously they're growing
hopefully
up.
they grow up quicker and then they can take over, you know what I mean? But yeah, like you say, I'm here obviously every day. I speak to my mum, phone her, make sure she's all right. I speak to my sister nearly every day. I try to avoid her as much as I can, but I can't get away from that because she works at the kids' school. Obviously, Molly as well. I speak to her every now and then, not as much as I speak to obviously my mum and Mary because she's just Molly. You know what I mean?
We'll leave that one there.
Yeah, we'll leave that one where she is. But you know,
What's it been like? So let's go back to the mental side of things. What's it been like mentally for you since your brother was murdered,
Hard.
brutally stabbed to death?
I literally lay there sometimes and don't want to be here. I spoke to my father-in-law, God knows how many times, saying I don't want to be here. But like I say, I look at my phone, I look at the pictures of the kids. I think that's what's keeping me going.
Do you have like moments where, obviously my book's called Alone, because every time I'd have a meltdown would be sitting down on my own, just fucking going nuts in my head.
That's the worst.
When you're on your own, do you feel like it's worse?
Pretty much, yeah. And obviously when you start thinking about things, obviously the good old days, and then you just sit there and think, he ain't here. You know what I mean? I know it's good to listen like to his voice, watch his videos and pictures of him and all that, but it's not the same as being with him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We were together every day. You know what I mean? Unless he was in jail or whatever, or whether he moved to Swanage, we were together every day, but we spoke together every day. You know what I mean? And it's not the same. It's not the same at all.
I still can't listen to his voice.
He was my baby brother and he was my best mate.
So I obviously, on Facebook, obviously like every time it's his birthday or it's when he was
His anniversary.
murdered. So when on Facebook, it blows up. Like I've seen it so many times, it blows up. So your family, I mean like Gypsy May and every single one of the nieces and cousins and everything, it's like paragraphs of how much they still love him. So your whole entire family, you know for a fact, like I know for a fact, that there's nothing but love for G. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not even just the family, is it? You see friends doing it and
I was
everything.
just about to say, like on top of that, every single person that I know when that happens comments, posts, reposts, do you know what I mean? Stuff, and then put pictures of when they remembered him or stuff from parties and stuff like that. It's massive. Like he was such a big, like Finch Hampstead was G Smith.
Yeah, it was.
And I ain't just saying, like,
And
it
that
was massive.
night he went, Finch went.
The night
It's
he
just
died,
so-
Finch died, and
He
it's
did,
literally
yeah.
we took the kids there, had like trick or treating, the following year, because we had the last trick or treat with him, and then when we went there, I swear it was like walking through a morgue.
Yeah.
It was dead.
No one was out.
Nobody was out. Or normally you'd see all the young kids or whatever, or like teenagers throwing eggs at people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But there was nothing. And I'm just looking around like this, and people are saying it ain't the same.
It ain't.
Since
I've
your
heard
brother
from so
left,
many people,
it's
like-
dead. It's died there.
Quite a lot of people have said to me, like, Steve, it just ain't the same anymore. Like, it is
No,
so
it
dead.
wasn't the same.
Yeah, that place died the night G died.
I think the best thing that they've done is obviously knocked it all down now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's going to be a new era for other people. We had our 29 years there.
You know what's going to happen now? There's going to be like someone moving to a new house and they're like, oh, that cupboard door keeps slamming. G going, oh, take that boy. in everyone's head. It's just haunting the place to shit.
He will.
He would.
It's when the boiler.
What the fuck was that?
The boiler's going to keep packing up. G's going to be going around calling for it the next morning. Thank you, a bit of scrap for me.
Yeah, a bit of copper pipe and burst in the thing. Shit. We've got a pipe missing.
But you know the worst thing after, one of the other worst things after that was they was actually going to put another family in that house where he was actually murdered.
Really?
Yeah.
We put a stop to that.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
We just
And they asked me for the £15 council tax because I didn't know he was living in the trailer. They thought he was living indoors.
Oh,
and they asked me for the £15 bedroom tax the week he died.
I can't even get into that because that's just like another.
That's woken the council for you.
Shit. I can't stick crap like that. That's like another subject that drives me nuts.
Yeah.
That would be another hour chat.
I paid it. I paid
What?
them the £15. Yeah, I said you're that fucking desperate for it. My
They
boy is
literally-
laying in the morgue and you want £15 for his bedroom. Let's have the fucking money.
looks like they needed it more than we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So, so for anyone out there that is like going through what you're going through, because there is actually I'm actually quite shocked since I've been doing like street interviews how many people have had sons murdered, daughters murdered, like
It's a regular thing
kids,
nowadays.
15-year-old kids been stabbed to death.
Yeah.
It's mad. What if you got any advice to give to anyone out there, like how to deal with not like obviously I know you're not dealing with things as good, but anything that can help them in any way or anything like out there.
Keep your family and close friends close. Talk to them because it is hard. You know what I mean? People do end up losing their lives over mental health.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they struggle. But if you've got a strong family, strong friends that can listen to you, obviously like yourself, you're doing all this to speak to people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We need more people out there, more men to come forward and start talking.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know what I mean? I don't talk. You know what I mean? Like I say, I speak to my father-in-law. I can't come here and speak to my mum, my sisters. I can't speak. I can't speak to my missus about it. You know what I mean?
Have you spoke to me before?
But no, not really.
We had heart to hearts.
Sometimes,
On the
but
phone.
But then there's sometimes I ring you and then you say I'll ring you back in a minute and don't bother. So
Hold on a minute,
I'm still waiting for that phone
Right,
call.
Let's do this on camera. Have I been there for you when you needed me, genuinely?
Yeah, you've been there, but I'm still waiting for the phone call back. But
I was there on the phone call.
You know what I mean? But I
there.
speak to my father-in-law because you know what I mean. He's another man. You know what I mean? He's an older man, so it's someone that I could like.
Always
you know,
on.
yeah. Obviously, I can go to him. You know what I mean? And obviously, I sit at his house for God knows how long and having a chat with him and he talks to me, and then obviously by the time I leave there, he's got me on a different level. You know what I mean? So it's good to talk. I know it's hard. It is very hard for a male to talk. You know what I mean about mental health and what they're going through. Because I don't want to sit there and talk to my missus about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't want to show her that I'm weak. You know what I mean?
That's one of the hardest things for men.
Exactly, and that's what it is.
Yeah.
Weak. And that's what it is to me. I feel weak by telling her, if I go and speak to her and tell her that I don't want to be here, you know what I mean? And then I feel selfish because if I go and do something, then it's my kids and my missus that suffer.
Yeah.
So that's why I talk to my father-in-law.
Like, especially like feeling like you can't talk. That's how I was my whole life. Like I feel like I couldn't talk to anyone, and like and especially like when you're in a relationship as well, because you feel like if I cry in a relationship, I swear to you, I've always had this thing in my head like if I cry, I make myself look weak. She'll think I'm weak, and she'll want to go with a stronger man. Because I believe in alpha males. We have to be the alphas. We got to be the strong. Like, yeah, do this, go do that. What do you say? Like, as soon as you start going, and you start acting like that, it's like, oh God, God.
What have I got here?
What am I with now? Do you know what I mean? With this weak person. So realistically, like on another level, we need to learn to talk instead of get ourselves
Instead of bottling it up,
bottling it till we get like that, and then we show our emotions bad, and then look weak. We have to it's different for men. We have to be these powerhouses. Do you know what I mean?
It is.
Kirill's been a powerhouse with his family. So he's like, there's a different breed with Kirill because it's just. I don't know.
Pedigree.
I know. I've always looked at Kirill as like this big pedigree, like powerhouse. Like you don't mess with Kirill, she'll kill you. Like, you know what I mean?
It is hard. It's hard. You know what I mean?
It's hard for a man.
It is very hard, and obviously it's hard for like if there's kids involved as well. It's hard for them. I've seen it myself with mine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've got one boy that. Since my brother's died, he hasn't cried once about him. He hasn't cried about my dad, sorry, his granddad, which he was close with because they'd always argue. They were exactly the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he's struggling because you say one word to him and all of a sudden, bang, he flips. And then they start just kicking off. But I know it's not him. It's because he's got it all bottled up inside him. But he won't talk.
Yeah.
He hasn't cried, like I say, he hasn't cried about my brother. And he was with my brother every day. My brother took him in his first police chase. You know what I mean? And he still talks about it. But it's hard. And obviously I know he won't talk neither.
So I had a street interview with a couple of girls the other day. It's actually going off my YouTube tonight. And these two girls, I was trying to talk to 12 to 14 different girls about men's mental health. And the minute I started getting the camera going, can you talk? They were like, oh yeah, what's it about? And as soon as I said men's mental health, they went, nah, I'm alright, and fucked off. And I was like, this is why they don't we're in the dark and we're all men's mental health. But anyway, I managed to get these two girls to talk, and these two girls started talking. And I said to them, listen, what and I was like, can you talk to me? And they didn't want to talk at first. I said, well, no girls are talking, so at least back the women up and say something. Anyway, I goes, is there anything you can give out there for men's mental health, not speaking about stuff, blah blah, and this kind of stuff? And they actually came with the best points I've ever heard. They said, it was like, yeah, we think you should put it into school early, and acknowledge it into a school and bring men's, boys' mental health as well as men's mental health into the schools. Prevention is better than cure, and bring it in early stages. So as soon as you see your son, that's why it's made me think of it because of his age. Say, right, come and talk, and let's have some classes with just one-to-ones. No, just have a laugh and a joke and chat with him, and slowly bring it out of him and let him talk. And the minute he talks, if you can bring that into schools or even into some sort of, even if the school put something together for after school somewhere, they went and just had a one-to-one or something like that. I don't know, just something. If they can have something from a young age, because I think a lot of men's mental health comes from a young age. We have to be from a young age tough and strong. I was a bit different because I was in boarding schools and I had a lot going on. I didn't want to be here, but I had to, like I said in that podcast with James English, until I got to 19, I was a fucking pussy, mate. I was so scared. Cried my eyes out. I was a little fraggle. I was just crying all the time, and I was a little bubble of shit. I didn't even know who the fuck I was. I didn't care if I died. I was like, kill me. I'm too scared to live in this world because I'd just been beaten, stabbed so much, and raped, and all the rest of it. When I got to 19, and I just had enough. I couldn't kill myself. I tried to kill myself. Nothing I'd done worked, and I just thought, fuck it, I am going to iron out anyone that looks at me in the wrong way. And then and something clicked in my brain. I don't know, that's where they talk about men's mental health, stuff like that. And I just turned into this absolute raving fucking lunatic. I didn't care. I didn't care if you kill me, I don't care.
And that's probably stemmed because obviously you bottled it all up.
Yeah.
And then, like you say, that's happened to you because you bottled it all up, and then you ended up in jail.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? That's why you don't want kids bottling it up and then ended up in jail because they've kept it all to themselves. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's why, like you say, it's good for them to talk to people at school.
I've seen so many boys that have gone to jail 15, 16 years old, come out lunatics. And they've been not even tough when they've gone in. Because you've just been beat so bad for years and years. In the end, you break them down, you go, no, I ain't fucking having it no more. Do you know what I mean? I remember clear as day the day I lost the plot. I'll never ever forget it. When my head just went, that's it, I'm done. I don't care whether I live or die. Anyone looks at me funny is getting hot water in the face with sugar in it. I'm going to cut you with a knife. I know it sounds bad, but I did. I would hammer in your face. I wouldn't give a fuck. I didn't care. I come out of jail. I was fucking going through people's doors. I was just obviously kidnapping and shit. I was doing all that kind of stuff, and I didn't care anymore. I just didn't care. I didn't care if he put me in jail. I didn't care if he killed me. I didn't give a shit. I just
There's only so much you can take.
Yeah. And I feel you get to that point, and it's just when you get to that point, it's and then. And then you're in court, stood there looking at fucking wherever he's going. All right, Mr. Australian, he's got 3 GBHs, 2 ABHs, common assault a police officer in one fucking sitting in one nightclub. I'm like, yeah, and what? And I said to the judge once, I go, oh, just take me home. She goes, you're not going home, you're going to prison. I said, what do you think I meant? Do you know what I mean? I ain't going to home out here. I've been in fucking jail my whole life. Shut up. Do you know what I mean? And they was like, all right, off you went again. So I went back to jail. And I was just like, fucking hell, really? Then you're sitting there. And the only thing about jail is boring. I don't care about being in there and having fights in there and stuff like that. It's just boring. Sit there all the time, fucking hell. 24-hour bang up today. Do you know what I mean? Boring.
And just think, if you had somebody to talk to back then, maybe you wouldn't have gone to jail. Maybe you wouldn't have gone that way. So, like I say, it's good to talk to people, but it's hard for us.
I suppose so. I think
you know what I mean.
If to be fair, I'm actually quite glad it didn't. And the only reason I'll tell you right now, it's my story is completely different to a lot of people's out there, only because of what I witnessed. I'm glad I didn't have no one to talk to, and this is way going against my mental health, only because I like being a better boy. I wouldn't. If I had had someone to talk to, I would have probably been fucking.
You'd have still been a little
I'd have
frazzled.
been like,
You'd have been in the office now.
hi, I'll take the papers through outside. Do you know what I mean? That kind of fella. And I actually quite like being
So
a bit of a bad boy.
it changed you.
Yeah, it changed me, and I think like, and you do have to go through the rough. Like someone at my sort of like, I know my family members are out there, and they ain't nothing like me. Do you know what I mean? It's because of what I've been through. Like my bloodline does not go to the extent I am. Like 100%.
He's one of a kind.
100%. But yeah.
She was one of a kind.
Yeah, he was. I totally agree with that.
They broke the mould when he was born.
So yeah, all right. Well, let's wrap it up. It's been a pleasure to talk to you guys. I know it's been emotional. I know it's been really emotional. But yeah, let's just hope I can get this on YouTube and we can let everyone know out there that there is like family, like you can get together as family, and there is a way, instead of thinking about topping yourself all the time, there is a way where you can.
It didn't break us when he went. It broke us, but it didn't break us as a family. If you know what I mean.
That's what
we stick together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, and stay strong for each other.
All right.
And my thing is just like to people who are watching this, if you've got young kids, like anything from the age 9 upwards, when they're going out, check their bags. Make sure they're going out with sweets in their bag, not knives.
Starts at home.
Yeah.
Does start at home.
That's a really
starts at home and then into the school. Like I got told earlier about a year 7 that took a machete into school. Said to his teacher, "Look what my dad got me," and just pulled this big ass machete out in school. In year 7.
Which is an 11-year-old.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And then pulled a knife out at the same time. So it starts at home by listening to what he's said that his dad's give it to him. You know what I mean? So it starts at home.
So check their bags.
Yeah.
Check what they're doing.
We pick up keys.
Online because you get a lot of shit that's different things that you don't think there's a knife.
Yeah, check online.
Cool. Right. Take care, everyone.
On that note.
Thank you, Steve.
Cheers, Steve. Thanks very much.